Yes, hello, esports fans. It's the Richard Lewis Show. I'm your host, Richard Lewis. Sam, the producer, is in the background. My guest tonight is somebody who is uniquely poised to answer some very interesting questions. He's gone from being a coach of the best team in the world to being a player on a top 10 team in the world, some would say. It's Wilton Zews Prado, formerly of SK Gaming, now of Immortals. Thanks a lot for coming on the show, brother. This is going to be your first interview since the big reveal. Just while we were recording this, or just before, it looks like your old friend Fallen managed to leak it and tell a bunch of people live TV.
First off, I'm glad, it's a pleasure to be here. Always wanted to do something with you. It's awesome. Fallen, that's how he is. He forgot it was supposed to be announced tomorrow, and there was a little mistake now on live TV, but it's okay. I don't know how many people caught it, but it's all in good time.
Yeah, well, look, let's start right at the beginning. You want to be a player again, right? It's not like you haven't played before. I think all coaches that we have at the highest level have played it on some level.
I believe so, yeah.
Right? But why now? Because everything's going great. SK, the guys have had this big money move to SK Gaming, one of the oldest organizations in esports, very reputable. You've just won another major. You guys are the kings of the world right now. You're instrumental in that success. Why are you walking away to play again?
If we stop to think about it logically, most people won't understand, but okay. Everyone that's in the scene, we all love the sport. I speak especially about the Brazilians, which are the people that I hang out with in Immortals and SK. Everyone loves this game. It's really what we love to do, and seeing everything happen. SK, they're phenomenal. Everything we've done has been legendary, and why walk away from it? It's pretty simple. Everyone wants to play. I was called to Immortals when they were still Tempo Storm, but we lived a whole different situation at the time. We weren't getting paid in Games Academy, and they wanted me to play. It was very unsure, and I was going to Luminosity, and at that time I had to make a financial decision. And after everything we've done with SK, it just if it was to go anywhere in the world, I would say no. But for the Immortals guys, I love those guys so much. You see the passion they have in playing, and just being able, the way they talk to me, the way they came aboard, we don't want you to play. We want you to be our leader, take care of everything. For us as Fallen does for SK, we need your experience. We need something like that. And even if it's a financial cut, I'll be doing what I love and doing. If I'm able to get Immortals and help them out the way they believe in me, I think it's one of the biggest things I can do. Instead of having one team, we might be able to push the whole Brazilian community forward, and that would be amazing to me.
Well, yeah, are you worried, though? Because in the past, and again, you tell me if I'm wrong here, I had a little look at some of your earlier teams you've been in, some earlier lineups. Without being rude, I wouldn't describe you as like a world-beating player. Now, I know you've got a tactical brain. I know you're a smart guy, okay? But, I see a lot of in-game leaders these days struggling on the server. Yeah. I just came out of E-League. I watched Devil today. I watched Slemmy today. Are you worried about being able to keep up,
If I said no, I'd be lying, but I'm not completely worried because, if you take a look at the pages like Liquipedia, stuff like that, there's very little information on the time that I actually did play. I'll try to brief summary. I started playing competitively was in 2002. It's quite a while ago. Around 2005, I was among the top teams in Brazil already in 1.6. And after that, we managed to qualify for ESWC, but I got an invite from CGS to play Source because I was doing really well. I just for the fun of it, I played a Source tournament, and I ended up being considered the best Brazilian player in the world, the best Brazilian player. And they're like, "We need a Brazilian team. You build your lineup, we'll take you." And I did that, and I switched over to Source, and we had the dominant team for, 3 years.
Which team was that? Because obviously Source was my game, right?
Yeah. In Brazil, it was called Point TD, which is sort of the pro gaming TD lineup.
Yeah, I get it. And that was the TD was it touchdown or
target down? Yeah,
target down. That was a target down. Yeah, I remember that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and we dominated it. But after CGS died, the whole Source scene died. Yeah, and I ended up. I'm an older man. I needed to go to work and do everything like that, and I wasn't able to like counsel things between doing both at once. So I took a break. I quit at the time. And around 2013, Go was coming out again. Like Go was coming out. All my friends, like from pro game, were like, "You gotta play this. This game is awesome. It's gonna have a future." And I started playing again, and I joined Pro Gaming TD again. Like in 2 months, I already was on the best Brazilian team at the time. But the scene was very slow. So for I don't know 6 or 7 months, we dominated everything here. We even beat Fallen's team a couple times that he was doing, and by bad luck, and I mean that was again I needed to work and everything like that. I took a break, and that was when they merged with Kaboom, and they went to the United States, and everything like that happened. So, I mean, I think that I was supposed to actually be on the lineup because I was considered by many one of the best players on that team at the time. So it was bad timing by me, and I mean, now I want to see if I was as good as people thought, and if I can actually do it because. I mean, maybe I could have been on that pro gaming and been there to make history with the guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you sound like you were close to that greatness. So, but what have you done since being a coach to like stay in shape, right? Like, you know, like, are you playing anything at all? Obviously, everyone plays for fun, but I mean, are you playing on a serious level before this offer came in?
Before I was just playing like rank S in the United States, stuff like that. I always used to DM just because I like it, stuff like that. And I mean, but when I was a coach, I dedicated my whole life to that. I wouldn't play if I had something else to do. It was just something on my free time, and never would I imagine coaching would take so much of my time. It was like 13, 14 hours a day because I tried to do everything. So I wasn't playing as much as I wanted to, but around 2 months ago when the guy from Immortals got in contact with me and everything like that, then I started at least putting in the daily hours just to, when I have the free time, just be able to do intensively and get back into shape as fast as possible.
So in terms of coming in as a player to this team, you obviously replaced Showtime. How awkward was that? Because you know, obviously when you know these guys and have a relationship with these guys and they all look up to you, obviously you coming in and being like, "Hey, bro, I'm back, and you've got to go. You're the person we're cutting." Is that difficult?
It is. I feel really bad because Showtime is one of those guys that I mean, I just love his story, what he does. He's one of the like nobody knows, but he takes the money and helps his family. So I felt really bad for that.
Wow.
But at the same time, I'd never replied to anything that the Mortal guys were asking me until they were 100% sure he was going out, no matter what happened. So they were going to get someone. So he was going to
leave anyway.
They were getting someone. So and between the options they had. They said, "We want you. You're the best we can get," and everything like that. So after I knew he was out, then I accepted, and I spoke with him as soon as I could, just because I don't like to do anything behind anyone's back. And I mean, it surprised me. He was very supportive. He was like, "No, man, you got to do this. It's a shot of your lifetime. I know I screwed up, but I won't screw up again. I won't screw up again next time." And I mean, it's really hard seeing a player do that, but I think he's having the best mentality for it.
Yeah. You know, any idea if he's going to have these other opportunities? Because, look.
I believe so. I mean, I can't confirm anything now, but I've been hearing rumors he might be going to a team that might be going to the United States soon. So I'd keep on the lookout for some news like that.
Yeah, you know, because I know how hard the community can be on people, and they generally put a lot of focus on statistics, which you know my feelings about this. Yeah. You know, I think they only tell a very small part of the story, especially given how bad statistics in Counter-Strike are.
Yeah, we need better stats to bring out some better details, because nowadays people are getting crucified for their stats, and it's not even the right stats we're looking at.
Tell me what we should be looking at, you know, as a coach, right? What stats do you think are important?
I mean, a lot of the things are hard to get. I don't know how they'd implement it, but just a simple one, just like if you see flashed kills, if they show that the player was flashed when he died and who flashed him, you get an amazing look. In our team in SK, you'd look. Fallen would have one of the highest stats in that. That's why he's such an amazing player. Him and Cold Zero, they're the stars of the team, but they also play support all the time. It's weird, and if those stats came out, they'd be like the best players in the world for sure in front of everyone's eyes. And it's those little details that count. I mean, I don't know how we'd implement that in stats, but we need something more in detail. But just damage and stuff like that, it's very relative. Maybe you got the guy blind. Maybe Taco died in front for you to go and get that damage every round. So yeah, it's not fair.
Well, so are there any other statistics you think give a good kind of broad picture of how you perform? Because, you know, I'll be honest, I like ADR. We talk about that a lot on E-League deliberately because I think it's a very good metric.
Of the ones we have, was the best.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's others that don't exist yet. Like, for example, we did a show. We had to talk about what a support player was. And, it was incredibly hard to do. It was very hard to define what's a support player. What does it mean? Moses on the desk is like, I don't think support players are real. I think you just, he said, I think in the current meta, like you said with Fallen and Cold Zero, everyone plays a little bit of everything. Sometimes you have to support. And so I think we don't even have a fully defined idea about what constitutes a great player.
The game is evolving so fast. It's hard to think of things like that, because if you get the meta for like 2015, maybe, but like by mid you had some dedicated support players. Now, if you have a dedicated support player, he's just going to drag your team down, because you need that fragging power. You need someone to do that. And at least in SK, what we evolved in, everyone says we have roles, but basically the roles we have is Fallen as our main op, and that's it, because everyone knows how to do everything. Everyone needs to know how to do support. Everyone needs to know the order of smokes that they have to go on the map. If we're, depending on how many we have left, the best flashbangs to support for your friend. You need to know how to communicate like that. Everyone needs to know how to entry frag. If you don't have that grenades, to get someone in the right position. So, I mean, at least in the current meta now, I don't think that there are that many fixed positions anymore. It's very adaptive. Every round is a different circumstance.
Let's talk about you as a coach. We'll come back to Immortals in just a moment, but let's talk about you and your coaching philosophy. I think there's a lot of coaches out there right now, and I'm going to be honest with you. This definitely doesn't apply to you, by the way. I've watched you closely. I've seen how you work, but I see some coaches where I think you're just an ex-player who's getting a free ride.
Yeah,
I think they exist, right?
I feel you. I do feel about that about certain players. I mean, in the beginning, it was a lot more. Now I see a lot more people trying to dedicate themselves fully. But I mean, it's a new profession, coaching, and it varies on the team's needs. Like what my team needs is going to be certainly different than what Fnatic needs and Navi needs. The fact that I'm not in-game leader just changes everything. So I can't be a coach like Starks, and that's crazy. But the coaches getting free rides is something that really annoys me, because the situation, the amount of work that it took to get the scene where it is, the teams where they are, nobody should get a free ride. Everyone has to be doing their best to push it forward.
Yeah. So what do you bring to the table as a coach? Like, give me a typical day, like, and talk about working within this Brazilian structure. What do you do?
All right. Well, I'll speak with SK, as it was my last coaching role. My job evolved and adapted throughout these 8 months differently. In the beginning, I had to come up with strats because we were trying something more fixed. I was doing that. I would take the players aside, especially Taco, that would sit by me and try to see where he could evolve in those close bomb sites, because those are the positions I was used to playing, soloing sites, and doing those kind of things. And later on, when we started adapting to these new roles, my main focus would be finding new things for them. Everything they have to do, I'd have to find every little mistake, because it's one little details that will close the round. So every map in practice you have to watch. You have to watch all the other teams too. You can't anti-strat them, but you have to have a basic idea of what they do. And if they do something different, you have to be able to recognize it from the outside. And during the matches, my most important thing was catching tendencies from teams, so that we could, like the Navi game at the Major, there was one smoke that was tipping them off that we were doing those splits. So I told Cold Zero that, because he was listening to me at the time while I was playing, and we ended up adapting a strat that we started faking them out with that, and it helped us win that Mirage map on overtime. And right. I mean, it's little details like that. And I mean, the most important thing I think a coach should do in-game is awesome, but a coach has to take care of every necessity the player has. They have to be able to focus only on the game. So if the guy needs help, I don't know, with his girlfriend or whatever, you have to do everything you can in every situation. And once they can only focus on the game, then you can go inside and take care of that.
So what's the key differences then between being a coach and an in-game leader? Fallen is very often given a lot of credit for being one of the best in-game leaders in the world, and I know the way he carries himself in and out the game. He is a natural leader, right? So you're a leader as well. So you got these two big personalities, these two big leaders in the same organization. Tell me how that works, especially in game. How do you resolve that?
I mean, and the good thing about our team is everyone no one had egos. Everyone, Fallen would listen to me when he had to, and I'd listen to him. So we knew how to work very well like that. In game, that was Fallen's area. I would not touch unless he started to struggle. It's his opinion. If he's confident, he has the main voice, and he will do it. I just give my input to him, and if he wanted, he would accept it. It's more like that. And out of the game, then I would take care of everything outside for Fallen, so he could stream and practice and see new stuff and try to adapt things like that. So basically, the way we did it, Fallen is an outside leader. He's the heart of the team. He does everything like that. But when it came to the outside areas, like organizing the events, seeing how we're gonna do it, just getting everything done to a point that we can be one step ahead, that would be my area then per se.
Right. And was there ever any flashpoints between you two? Because again, like I know what it's like in the heat of the moment. When I was doing what you were doing and being stood behind players, and we had in-game leaders, and I'd be like, "Look, trust me, you got to do it this way," and they would have their own ideas, and they'd be like, "Look, no, it's this way, it's my way or the highway," and we'd argue. Sometimes we'd have those clashes. Ever had that?
Of course, that always happens, but it wouldn't as much clash because when something like that happens, like you said, there was me and Fallen, but everyone likes to give input, especially Cold Zero. He's a guy that he will in the middle of the round just say, "No, Fallen, let me take over now." And most of the times, if I had something like that, then I told Cold Zero, and his opinion, he would say it as his opinion, and that would go through. I mean, we found a way to make it work. So there was nothing very, very hard hitting, just little minor things that maybe I say, "Oh no, I think we should rotate this way on the map." He's like, "No, you should do it this way because the opera needs to be here." And I mean, in the end, the way we discussed it, we could see a correct solution, or at least a solution that most times would work out better.
So with all of that said, it sounds like you've done a lot of work within this SK gaming structure. You've won that major, and been a part of that. Won two majors, I should say. So how much credit do you take for yourself in terms of your contribution? Because I know that can be one of the most difficult things in any field of achievement, right? Like how much do I say, yeah, I did that, I fucking did that, I deserve to say that is mine, that's my achievement. Do you consider yourself the sixth man?
Yeah, I mean, coaches, they don't get as much credit as they deserve, the ones that really work and do but it's just normal. I mean, it's part of our profession. I came into this knowing that I'd never have the recognition of a player. The only thing I asked was that my players internally recognized me and did everything. And I mean, in SK, they did that by making sure I was treated fairly. I had the same compensation as that. We split everything 6 ways. And I mean, even leaving out, the last message I got from Fur was, "Yo, bro, I mean, good luck following your dream. You're the best coach in the world, the best coach I ever had. I hope everything works out for you. You were the sixth man." So for credit, I mean, I really don't care what the outside. I want them to credit me, but as long as the guys that I won it with know that I had my share and I did help them out and they said that I was very crucial to me, that's what matters. I mean,
yeah. But so I mean, in terms of how you think about it, I mean, do you feel like you won something?
Yeah, I feel like I won 2 majors. I mean, I will have a statement about it as well, and I will mention it, but that's something no one can ever take away from me. I'm a 2-time major champion. I don't care what anybody says because I know only the 6 of us were inside the servers during those major matches. And I know how much I contributed during that, in preparation for that, and during. So, I mean, yes, I think I was very important to that.
So given all the preparation you've done and all the work you've done, how does it make you feel when we see reports that Valve think the game should be a 5v5? We saw GB James, formerly of Team Liquid, talk about how Valve would sort of like to move away from this idea at Valve in sponsored tournaments where you are actually in the game talking to the players on a computer, watching everything. They're not too keen on that. They don't want that to be the future of the game, where I think that's incredibly reductive of a coach's contribution. How does that make you feel?
I mean, I never spoke publicly about this, and I never spoke to Valve. I wish that I could, even now that I'm leaving, because, I mean, I've had the experience here to maybe give some input to them. I do see maybe why they're coming from, but in my opinion, every professional sport at the pro level, you have to have the best performance and whatever, short of steroids or drugs enhancing performance, whatever. You have to have the best players doing the best. And if a coach is helping them only focus on that, giving the correct input. I mean, if you watch soccer or football, they have coaches that analyze day and night the strats to make the players' life easier and get the most out of them. They have performance coach, offensive coach, defensive coach, and I mean, just to think that because of that, Valve thinks now it has to be the way players play, like at home and matchmaking. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't agree with it at all. I mean, maybe if I spoke to them and they showed me some of their reason, I've never heard it, so I'm giving an opinion based on the very little I've heard, but I don't think it's correct. I think coaches need to be involved. Maybe not full time like they're saying, but there has to be a way that they communicate with the players for sure.
Mm. Do you think that's something like maybe the coaches can all get together and perhaps have that have a meeting with Valve and maybe change it? I know Valve can be very set in their ways and want to push their ideas.
The players don't even organize themselves for the player union. Imagine how hard it's going to be to get a coach union, man.
Yeah, you're right. We were a little bit behind the fucking curve on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, since as you bring it up, where do you stand on that whole player union thing?
The player union, I mean, I think it would be good, but I don't. It's very hard because the players don't want a player to be the head of it because he'd be biased. But at the same time, if it's not a player, how is he going to get the correct wants of the community? Because it has to be someone that understands what they're fighting for. And I mean, I think it would work out, but nobody's doing anything, and it pisses me off because, I mean, look what happened with E-League and everything like that. I understand the E-League standpoint, but so many things could change because players do have power, but they don't use it. They don't know how to leverage themselves and market themselves, and they get screwed over time after time. And
well, hey, look, I know obviously I work for E-League, and it'd probably be smart of me to steer away from it, but I don't want to steer away from that. So let's talk about the E-League situation. You know, not just for SK, but I mean, you know, the team you're joining, Immortals, that was reported, you know, that they could have had. When they were still Tempo Storm, that they could have had some sort of grievance as well. You know, what's your take on first of all the SK situation? You know, look, I'm torn because the way E-League's doing things, this is the way it's done in American sports. Now, obviously, we're going to revise everything at the end of a season. We're going to sit down. We're going to look at all the rules, what worked, what didn't, and make changes to make a better league, a better product. But I'm like you. I can see both viewpoints here. I think an organization has to kind of have dominion over its slot. But equally, when you see a situation where 5 players who have earned the right just in a competitive context to play in a tournament, and because of the transfer market, because of the registration process, are unable to, obviously it makes me sad. And I think everybody can agree the league would have been enriched if SK Gaming were in it, because they're such a good team. And you know, I think that reflects in the coverage that we gave them. You know, we told Fallen story. I thought we made the players look great and everything else, and it's a shame for us we don't get to see the culmination of those storylines. So that's my take on it. What do you think?
I mean, I'm like you. I can see both sides. I can see the business side. Thank God for that coaching, because I've got to deal with so many organizations and the events, and I know what it takes. I mean, I do know that TVCS is different than the major. Yeah. It's easier to have 16 contracts with teams than it is to have with 160 different players and have all that stuff going on. But I mean, the rules, I should steer away from these as well, but I'm not. Let's say that. I mean, the situation we feel bad because had it been told us up front that that's always going to be, it's going to be like that, we'd been fine. But the reports we were getting until is you're going to play last chance qualifier, you're going to assume SK spots, and one day before. Not even one day before we get out of our match at the major, they're like, "You guys are disqualified from E-League." It was posted on Twitter. We didn't know, as the players, we did not know, and that's what made us sad with E-League, because I mean, a heads up would have been nice in a situation like that, especially with the talks that had been going on.
Yeah, and you know, I guess from our point of view, the assumption would have been that like it would have filtered down on an organizational level, so you guys would have heard as soon as those guys knew as well. So, you know, I'd
seen the Minsick, the commissioner. He was there at the major, and he didn't tell me. I mean, That hurt because we had talked a lot with it.
Yeah.
During E-League, I talked with him a lot. I tried to help in everything possible. I thought that would have been, I mean, a good courtesy and something like that. And I know rules are rules and everything like that. But if the commissioner is supposed to have a say in this, I don't know how much power he's actually giving from the top and what he can or can't do. But in a situation like this, our contracts expired before July, so it was in the middle of the league. So theoretically we shouldn't have even been competing if it was going to be like that. I mean, and situations. I mean, it's not like 2 players changed. It was the whole roster. They took the 5 players. They took the coach. They took the manager. It was everything. It just changed name. That was it. So I mean, maybe a little bit of arbitration could have been used there.
Yeah, but perhaps, and then of course, the bigger problem was, and again, I can tell you because I was in some of these meetings. The E-League leadership team, we met, we had long conversations about, what's best here for as many. How do we satisfy all parties? And the reality is, that there wasn't a way to do that, and we looked at the sort of path of least harm, right? And that is to preserve competitive integrity in the league by upholding the rules that were in place at the start of the league. It was like there was no real way to budge just based on that registration rule that we had in place. And I agree with you. Look, just speaking as a fan, I want to see the best games. I want to see the best teams. You know that, right? I love this game. I've been in it for a long time. So it was definitely saddening on a personal level, but I definitely think equally I see why the rules are there.
I mean, if I'm to be very honest here, I think that the decision that they made in the end, considering all the things, it's the only one they could have made. But like I said, I think that the rules are there, let's uphold them. But I just thought that maybe it could have been communicated to us early and not the way it was via Twitter for the players. I mean,
yeah, and just to put a full stop on that, we talked about it. I think in future, we again, just to explain why we did it that way, it was done on Twitter because at that point, the situation, it was a complicated transfer between the 2 organizations.
Oh, yeah.
It was becoming a bit of a saga, honestly, and we still weren't 100% sure which way it was going to go. So in the end, as soon as we found out, we were like, right, we got to get this decision out in the public domain as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah.
The fans have to know. Everyone's got to know. So Twitter was the quickest way to do that. And that, and we did it that way. And then looking at it, maybe we could have drafted an official press release. Problem with doing it that way is, though, press release has got to get signed off, blah, blah, blah. We got to put it through legal. So it takes a little bit longer. So,
I do understand. And with what you said, I mean, I do understand that looking back, the whole situation we had didn't help at all. I know that a lot of this would be considered our fault in some way. I don't take our share in all of that. I mean, this whole everything was a shitstorm in this decision. There's no way to
it was
to
classic
make anyone
esports,
happy.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
classic esports, mate. But what about the Immortals thing in general as well? Because back when they were Tempo Storm, they were starting to get a little bit of a grievance towards a lot of leagues, they didn't get that E-League invite, they didn't get that ECS invite. There was a few leagues that didn't include them, and meanwhile they were sort of going out there and getting results, and we saw how they felt about it. Do you think they were justified in being upset at being overlooked?
I mean, again, yes and no, because their results were coming out, but a lot of these contracts were being done before those results, so I do get that. I mean, Fallen was one of the biggest advocates for putting them in. I mean, I think if we were to get, if the tournament starts today, who are the teams today? Yeah, they should have been. But if it was something doing back then, there's nothing they could do. I will be upset if they don't get into the next leagues, if we now continue to have these results and we're not invited, because then there's had time to adapt. But back then, I do see the leagues getting a lot of blame it was out of their hands already.
Yeah. And, I think we're all getting to a place now where we are going to, I think everything's going to be course corrected. We've said we're going to have CS in season 2 in E-League. That's obviously going to be great news for your, former employers at SK Gaming. Same for the ones before it in the form of Luminosity, because obviously they were involved in the first season as well. And who knows, I think I don't have the full details available, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be opportunities for teams like Immortals to get into that league. I mean, it could be a crazy story because you might end up, being in there as a player after having been like a coach in season 1, which would be pretty rad, right?
I mean, that'd be cool to see, I think.
Yeah. So look, talking just a little bit more about SK Gaming, there's a few kind of, or rather when they were Luminosity, there's a few things that I want to touch upon. And again, you know me, if there's anything you don't want to talk about, we can just move past it. But I'll always ask the questions. So look, the Luminosity move, when that fell through and you guys decided to make the move to go to SK, there was a lot of interviews. There was one recently by Taco where I looked at it and perhaps something gets lost in translation. So I always take translated interviews with a pinch of salt. But Taco was talking about the financial situation that you were in at Luminosity, and man, it sounds crazy because in terms of market value, you were the number 1 team in the world, but you were getting paid, like a low salary by NA or European standards.
I mean, I'm not sure how much I can talk about this because with the way things were handled, we do have some subjects we're not supposed to touch upon. But
like non-disparagement clauses and NDAs and stuff. I totally get it.
What I can say is with Luminosity, they did try. They always did try, which is why a lot of this happened. We know how much they tried. They were. I mean, Steve, I like him as a person. I think he's always tried. And salaries, they weren't competitive, but they actually were because we did get a renegotiation back at the end of last year and stuff like that. Maybe we weren't the best paid team at the time, but things like that come with time. And for us not to get, I mean, you know how these leagues work. Most of them take 3, 4, 5 months to pay something like that. So we can't ask the organization to pay us what they haven't received yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only thing I can say is there's no hard feelings, at least on my part, at all towards Luminosity. I do like them. I wish them the best of luck. I think they have what they've done, how much they've grown in such little time is amazing for an organization. And I mean, that's about it, I guess, that I can say about that.
No worries, and hey, and thanks for your candor. So you move, what about just in terms of moving to SK Gaming? Again, lots was talked about during the time that maybe it was a bit of a sort of naive move, that maybe contracts were signed like a little bit ahead of schedule. If you could go back and do anything differently, would you, or do you think it's all worked out, for the best?
I mean, SK, at least I've worked with them little time, but I think they're an amazing organization. They took care of us really well for this major in the preparation we've had and everything. I mean, I think for sure we would have done things differently because we are CS players and stuff like that. We did not have that business experience that we should have had to handle that. We did handle the situation very badly, and I think I would have done differently for that, but maybe we still would have had the same outcome in the end.
Okay, good. So look, let's talk about some of the big games. You guys went into the major in Columbus, and a lot of us were talking about how it was kind of Navi's major to lose. Yeah. I knew you guys were going to go far. I didn't really know how far. We saw, obviously, Fnatic falter, Astralis falter. Tell me about the mood in the team, because you guys have had this. It's an incredible mentality, and I see the good and bad in it, right? I see the good because you guys are galvanized. It's not contrived. It's not bullshit. Like when you guys are on stage in that huddle and you're giving speeches to each other, and I can see how it is a brotherhood, right? It is family. Yeah, it's genuine. It's not fake. I know when something is fake. I know when people are doing shit for the cameras. I know you guys aren't doing that. But equally as well, sometimes you seem to be in a mentality where it's like, because it's them and us, the whole world is against us, and it's like you guys kind of sometimes I feel, it can be a mentality where it's like, yeah, you do think everybody can sometimes be the enemy. You guys can be a little bit easy to lose your temper, to get upset at things that maybe aren't quite as bad as they seem. I think back to like RNG with the Team Liquid thing. Oh, and I don't want to bring that up again, it's crazy because I know you guys are very, you're all good sportsmen. You're all good ambassadors for the game, but like you have these like flashpoints. So let's just talk about mentality within the team, and in particular at Columbus. How do you guys get into that mindset, and do you think it's always a positive mindset?
I mean, the way we do that it's the thing that drives us. It's how we are as a team and as a Brazilian people. I mean, Immortals has the same way of being passionate and doing it. It's just how we do. We live in the moment, and I do agree with you that being so hot-headed in the moment can make you take bad decisions, but it can also make you have some really good ones and give you that extra burn. So, sort of does level itself out. Our mentality in that major, I mean, we still hadn't won an international event, and we knew that Fnatic would be our main opponents if we got to face them. We hadn't beaten them. Navi were our rivals in the beginning, but we were starting to overcome. So Navi, I mean, you always got to respect them, but we were very confident in that Navi match. I mean,
why? Why? Because look, here's what we did on the desk. Like, obviously, if we'd known about Guardian's injury, we would have probably predicted a little bit differently. Yeah. But everybody was like, hey, look, this is a great run for Luminosity. This is an amazing story, but this is Navi's time.
I do get that from the analyst standpoint.
You clowned them. You embarrassed them.
But the thing is, like, if you get the tournaments back the way we felt, I'll start with Starladder in the beginning of the year. We beat Navi in their home 2-0 in the best of 3. Weight off our shoulders. We lost to Fnatic but I'm sure had we beaten Fnatic in that semifinal where we threw the game, I'm pretty sure we would have won that tournament. That would have been our first one. We got them Navi again at IEM, another 2-0 best of 3 with them pulling the boost out of their ass, and they still couldn't do it. I mean, so against Navi, we were very confident for that. We were very confident. The one match that caught us by surprise was Liquid. I mean, being very honest, if we replay that best of 3, we were supposed to lose like 99% of those. Yeah. There's no way 59 and 15-6 is just not supposed to happen.
That fucking Cold Zero, man.
I mean, I watch that movie at least once a week because it gives me the chills just remembering that. It's amazing. But so that caught us off guard. After we came back from that, because our team up until that point, we were losing to ourselves. When things started getting tough, when things got real that we could actually win, we'd lose ourselves. We'd overthink it. We'd do stupid stuff. We'd start over-rotating, or we wouldn't figure out the quick solution. Just, these guys are hitting us hard. Let's just let them try and hit us, and then we'll break them in the middle of the round or something like that. So we were losing to ourselves, and that was the first term against Liquid. That was when I started to believe we would be the best team in the world because our communication was so calm and so crisp. And 15-6, no one believed for a second we would lose, not even that 15-6 map. We're like, no, we're going to take this, relax. One kill at a time. Nice. And I mean, after that, when we got to the Navi match, Mirage, it was going really crazy, but we had that same mentality, and we were figuring out those little details. So we knew it would be good. And I mean, Navi, they have this thing with them. They have that pressure. Everyone's saying it was theirs, and we know what these finals can do to your mentality. They can break you down. One round can change everything. And I mean, after we took that Mirage from them, and we knew there was no way they would beat us in overpass because they were already defeated by then. They had defeated themselves. They did exactly what we were doing, and that was the way we needed to lift off our shoulder for us to have that actual confidence, the true confidence where you're like, no, we can trade with anyone. We're not going to lose to anyone. And after that, I mean, we picked the best tournament to win. My God, we couldn't have chosen a better one. And winning a major is everyone's dream. And after you win one, is like you don't think you respect everyone, but you don't think you're like. It's not like, oh my God, we're the underdogs. Now we're like, okay, if we play our game, we're gonna win. And that changes so much because even the other teams, they start playing us, they're more afraid of us now. They try to over-predict us, and I mean, sometimes they'll just screw themselves over for that because we're playing very basic CS and doing what's simple, and they're trying, oh my God, they're going to do something crazy, and it just doesn't happen.
What happens in the aftermath of winning a major? I'm always interested because I don't know. I'm guessing as a Brazilian, you like soccer, okay?
Yeah,
it makes sense, right? So I don't. You follow the English game? I know a lot of Brazilians do follow the English Premier League.
I used to follow soccer a lot more before I got involved into esports. Now I really don't have that much time, but I do like to keep up with the results of the major tournaments going on. I just don't have that much time to watch.
Well, this is back in my heyday, so quite a while ago. But there was obviously Roy Keane, an Irish midfielder who played for that great Manchester United team that dominated for over a decade. He said in his biography that when he won trophies, the feeling of satisfaction just never lasted. Like he would go out, he would celebrate that night, but the next day he'd wake up feeling empty, and he'd have to go out and just win again. Like, what's next? What's next? And I've heard some people say that they feel like that, and I've also heard some people admit that after you win a big tournament, it's like, because it's a dream, because it's a landmark, it makes it incredibly hard to then go and win the next one next one, because you naturally take your foot off the pedal. So which
exactly
one are you guys?
Us.
Really?
I mean, when we won the major, we didn't even have that much time to celebrate because there was that whole Luminosity SK thing going on, which was screwing with our heads. But we went crazy for that. And I mean, we let it get to our heads a little bit at the time, and that's when Mamo happened. We were burnt out already, and we got a little cocky. And I mean, winning the major was awesome, but one of the best things that could have happened to us was losing Malmo in the way we did, because that, I mean, as much as the major was a good feeling, that was the worst feeling we've ever had. Like, for us, it was humiliation, and that is something that stuck with the players. They're like, I will never feel this again. I will never let myself get to the point where I feel like this again. And after that, everyone got their heads perfectly in place now. And, I mean, it seems like every tournament we win, it's like, okay, we have to do more. Like, we won the major, was amazing. We won Pro League, yeah, that was good. Then we won this last major. If I'm being very honest, it was, like, I don't know if it was the form, but it was great. But 2 hours later, we're like, okay, just a normal day now. Let's go back to work. Let's start watching our demos, fix what we did wrong. Because even if we're winning the major, we made a lot of mistakes that we had to fix. And I mean, I think that, I don't know if that's how it happens to everyone, but for us, I mean, now winning one tournament or the major or whatever, doesn't matter. Now SK is going to try to do history. That's what they're they want to do something different every time they have a bigger goal.
And, you know, I know how hard you guys work, but it's almost become like a mythology now. Like, whenever I go on the subreddit or Twitter, you know, I see guys talking about, like, hey, you don't know what these Brazilian guys have gone through. They were sleeping on floors. They didn't have enough money to eat. You know, they were living rough. They were practicing like 12, 14, 30 hours a day, you know, and phenomenal stories. Like, you know, it was, and, you know, I've always wanted to ask, is that true? Like, was it as crazy as what people were saying? Were you guys straight grinding? Were you guys sleeping on floors? You know, had you guys, like, come from, you know, this poor background where you had to hustle? Like, if you didn't have this, you know, you're going back, you know, to the hood, right? That's how people make it sound.
I mean, sleeping on floors, that it wasn't as bad as people as it was made to look, being very honest. You know how movies are like that, for profile and stuff like that. They get you, but that's their purpose. They serve that. Of course, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was easy for us, but it was a choice we were making. We could have came back to Brazil and slept in our house, but for us, it was worth it. Like I said, if that's a choice we had to make, and we'd make the same choice every time, we don't mind. Being very honest, like we had a practice room. That's what we were here for. We were there to practice, and as long as we could do that, we can't complain. The house was really good. We even had a pool, we had a barbecue, we had all our friends, Ricardo and Camilla there. I mean, for us, it was really good. Maybe that when it was time to go to sleep, it wasn't ideal, but that was about it. I mean, it wasn't as bad. And as for practice, I mean, I don't know how other teams' work ethics are, but yeah, we grinded a lot. We practiced so much. And the way we practice was something different than everyone else, because I mean, I even looked at the Mortal teams. I went to see some North American teams. The problem isn't that they're not practicing. The problem is that after the map is over that they practice, they don't know how to talk with each other. They don't know how to explain the problems they're having or what went wrong. We're like, okay, let's tweak this little detail. Oh, maybe it was only this little flash that was making it so we can't go in, or maybe now I need to strafe this little angle before. If they only could explain that, they would evolve. And after every map, we sit down, we talk, okay, this is what happened that round, this is what happened in this moment, I'm just going to change this with Taco, I'm going to do this and this. And that's worth like 10, 12, 13 maps if you're not talking about it and finding solutions for where you're actually, if you're just going to play it, doesn't matter if you play 1 hour or 10 hours. The way we do it, we were, in the end, for the major, we were doing 2 maps of practice a day and like 4 hours of theory. Where we would just talk among ourselves every possible mid-round situation, initial round situation, and end game. And we try to, in our minds already, like, okay, if this happens, maybe we can get this start and end it that way. And everyone had everything at the top of their heads, and that's what makes it good, because now we play CS that's based on quick decisions by the players. It's not something fixed, like Taco's saying. In the beginning, I had to make strats, but afterwards, we were playing decision CS, which is a lot different. But for everyone's like, oh, that's just talented players. it is talented players, but the amount of work you have to put in for a player to know every correct decision is way more than creating some new strat with different smokes or something like that. It's ridiculous.
So look, here's the thing: you guys win. You're the best team in the world. You're crowned champions. And all the Brazilian fans, obviously, they love you, right? You guys are gods, okay? Heroes. And I know, look, I don't even want to get into this because I know the Brazilian scene, it can be passionate, okay? And passion can cut both ways. Passion can be, like it's what they call in France, right? When a dude goes crazy and fucking murders his wife, it's a crime of passion. They have mitigating circumstances about it. Now, I don't know if I agree with that exactly, but you know what I mean? Sometimes you can love something so much, it can drive you fucking crazy when it disappoints you. And I think Brazilian fans share this a little bit. I've seen the threats and abuse you guys get when you lose, and it's from Brazilian guys, right?
I mean, we never made a final. We got to a final. You guys are the best. We made a second final. You're the best. We lost the third final. Like, you are shit. How are you losing? Like, come on. It cuts both ways. We get death threats from them when we lose, but when we win, we're the monster. It's normal for us now, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy that this comes off as common or something that's normal. It's fixed into our minds. But I know it's not supposed to be like that, but for us, it's normal.
Yeah, and the where I'm going with this is, the adoration, the love that you were all getting, being this amazing story of having come from nowhere, worked your way up to being a success. Everyone was cheering you, and then we all know what happens next. We start seeing these clips start coming out, and we start seeing accusations coming out, and then all of a sudden, all the popularity that you have, I know it's like I go on forums today, and if on Reddit, and if they don't have an SK Gaming or Luminosity flair, they're saying something bad about you guys. So when did you first start noticing the change? When did you notice that people didn't love Luminosity anymore?
I mean, it's for us. I don't think there's like middle term. Either people really love us or they really hate us. And I mean, I wasn't even part of the team, but when I started seeing people not going as well, we're in two situations. One was the liquid thing with the button. A lot of people said that Luminosity overdid it, and they got a little bit, but that was smaller. With this whole thing with Luminosity and SK, that's when I saw a huge tipping point in opinions for people with us. Either we were scum or we were just, they're trying to take care of their livelihood and stuff like that. So that's when things got like that. And I don't know, I mean, where it's going to go from now. I mean, from people calling cheaters and stuff like that, these accusations, I mean, for me, that's just pure ridiculous. One, because I'm behind these guys. I know it's not. Yeah. But I mean, this is me. I don't think there's any cheating going on. I think maybe in the past there was, but things have done a little tightened up now. I mean, there are one or two weird clips you see, but that can be coincidence. But the clips you see these people putting on the air is ridiculous. Like, if you have a little bit of understanding of CS, you know that there's a smoke here. The guy's just transfer spraying, and by luck on the X-ray, the guy was like on a separate corner of the map or something, and he aligned with that. But I mean, look at how many maps and matches these guys played. Of course, sometimes the thing's gonna line up.
So you've seen the clips?
Oh yeah, of course. I watched to laugh, but I think it's funny.
So give me your opinion on some of these, because there's a couple. Look, hey, I'm gonna obviously bring up the big two. There's two that stand out in my memory. The rest, it's like you say, it's just a crosshair movement. It lines up with somebody. I've seen somebody compiled a 10-minute compilation of Illuminosity's greatest hits or whatever, and with all these supposed aim locking moments. It's like I say, I don't buy into the hysteria, but there's a couple of clips. There's one on Mirage where someone drops down and Cold Zero's AWP kind of seems to move in line. He's not scoped, but it just seems to follow him down coincidentally. And then, of course, the other one is the one that everybody's talking about recently with Fallen, with the scout headshot onto JDM. So let's just talk, do you recall either of those?
I don't think these two are the ones I haven't seen, but maybe I can see them.
Well, I mean, I know the Fallen one's pretty big. I'm pretty sure if you just put in Fallen scout shot, basically, we'll talk about the Fallen one first. That's the one that's fresh in everyone's memory.
Let me see your Fallen.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, you check it out. I assumed you would have seen them, so I'll see if I can get the links for you. In fact, Sam, I know you keep. You're a conspiracy theorist, so you have all of this to hand, Sam. So if you can hit us with the clip links, that'd be absolutely awesome. But yeah, just see if you can find them for me, Zews. And again, I don't want to put you
Oh
on the
God, that shot
spot.
was so fast. I remember that shot from
Right,
seeing
right.
mine.
Oh, that's the scout one, right? So,
Yeah.
so here you go. Now, everybody is saying that this is a dubious shot because it does this little mechanical correction, or what? Sorry, I should say what appears to be a mechanical correction. It moves to the left slightly and then upwards in a perfect right angle. Now, I've seen clips online where people have replicated things that look similar, just on gameplay, and they blame it on the tick rate and the demo bugs. I mean, let's imagine this wasn't your team. Would this make you concerned?
Oh my God, being very. If I see this, if I was JDM and how fast he took that shot, I would have
Mm,
been scared as hell because I remember watching from that. That was so insanely fast.
mm,
Fallen has these moments. I mean, but I mean, I don't see it as there's. I don't know why people would think this is cheating because that is an angle that everyone stays with an op,
yeah,
right? If you're gonna hold platform, 99% of the time it's either that or from behind big box, or they're gonna be on the double stack near the box. So Fallen open, takes the angle. He looks not on the big box. The next angle he has to peek is that one. Since we had studied them and we know that they like to hold from that angle, he just strafe shot and already did it. He just did it shooting, not even seeing if he was there, and just got ahead.
mm. I've got that Cold Zero clip here for you as well. I'll send
All
it
right,
to you now on
let me
Skype.
get
And
it.
again, like I don't want you to think this is an ambush. I'm just
No,
interested in
no,
talking about
this
this
is
with you
this is cool.
because
This is something cool to see.
yeah, yeah, and I want to talk because I want your explanation. I know you know more about the game mechanically than me. I know there's a lot of people out there that are just like feeding into this conspiracy theory. And again, what you'll see on this clip
Oh,
is yeah, that's
easy. This is
yeah,
easy. He's listening to the guy in connector. He's trying to listen for something.
okay. And again, it's just a
Yeah,
coincidence the drop, yeah.
yeah. This is coincidence for sure. I don't know if you've ever seen the way Cold Zero plays. He's very different. He only uses two fingers for keyboard and two fingers for mice.
Okay.
He's like retarded in that sense, and not trying to get the taco hate train on me, please.
No, no, no. But hey, but listen, right? I think a lot of people would like to be as retarded as that if it makes them a good Counter Strike player like that, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of
I
money
mean,
if you want.
this is like a tendency that at least the players, most pro players I see, when they're trying to listen for something, if they think they heard, they'll change their aim again a little bit, like rotate to see if the positioning is going to change. Because if they were if something like a fluke sound or something, it will just keep following. If not, it will change in the position.
Yeah.
This is easy.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Cold Zero. Here's one of the problems you've got with these cheating accusations.
Yeah.
Is that Cold Zero has come seemingly from nowhere, and he's gone from being a player that I remember when Fallen picked him up, and Fallen was saying this guy's going to be great, he's going to be amazing, and everyone was like, never heard of him, don't know,
Yeah.
and then he's come in, and in like 14, 16 months, is it, or less? I don't know.
I think he came with something around July 2015 to Luminosi, I think,
So
or August.
yeah, right. So.
Yeah.
In a year, he's for me. I think he's the best player in the world, and I'll tell you why.
I'd agree with you. Yeah.
Maybe Nico is like a better rifler, but Nico might, Nico might not be as good an AWP. I've never seen anyone quite as effective
complete.
right now as Cold Zero is with the AWP and the rifle simultaneously.
And if you talk with him, he understands so much of the game and how situations work. And his mind is like a player should be rotating from here already. He's like, as soon as he gets the kill, he's like, the guy's either going to be on little green room or he's already flanking. Watch out. And the guy will turn around. He's almost there. He's like, it looks uncanny the way he does it, but it's so much game sense. And that's so much from Fallen because, I mean, with Games Academy and everything that Fallen, with his lessons, he was able to explain these things so well that it's actually like a teacher. He got the message across, and now it's not like, oh, the team depends on Fallen to have those reads. Now the people can actually have these reads themselves, which is teach me how to fish or whatever that saying is, and know that.
Yeah. Teach me how to fish. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach him how to fish.
It's basically the same thing. Now, like you see, Taco, everyone knows so much about rotations and how teams react to these things. It's like they have a mini map inside their brain, and everything that's going on, they already know where their rotations, what to expect. You'll see these players are very rarely caught off guard. They always know where someone can be, which is the dangerous areas of the map at what time. So that's just props to Fallen for sure. And Cold Zero's, I think he's the best one that absorbed the most.
Yeah.
That's why he's so good.
Did you help as well though?
Yeah, I did. In my experience, I always told Fallen, And I told my guys, I knew, like, from playing so much, I've been through so many experiences that I'd see and I could tell them what they were doing wrong, especially in clutches or the solo sides, things like that. But what Fallen helped me, he helped me learn how to explain these things to the players, because I was able to tell in the beginning, I was able to tell them a lot what the correct solution was, but not how to get there. And that's what helped a lot in my coaching job towards the end, being able to explain how to come to these conclusions.
So, I mean, just to put a fine point on it, there's a lot of players. It's not just SK Gaming. It's not just your former teammates that are being accused of cheating. You know, we're seeing it happen with Nico. We're seeing it happen with Shocks. We're seeing it happen with Bialy. These are the players that are in the public eye. These are the players that are getting called cheaters. These are the players that are having videos made about them. Is there any sort of style of play that you think could lead to an increase of these clips over, say, like a player that never seems to have these clips?
I mean, a player that never seems to have them? I don't know, because, like, I'll give an example. I even saw a cheating clip from Brazilian Steel that was on the old Luminosity roster.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one on Cobblestone, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't even get a kill. It's like, how do you, out of the guy's whole career, you accuse him of cheating with one clip where he doesn't even get a kill? It's like, it's insane. And players that, I mean, there are a lot of players that you don't see clips about. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Taz cheating clips.
No.
You very rarely will see Fur. You will have a few, but very rarely, just because he's always pushing. It's just the way he plays. I mean, NIP, you don't get that right cheats anymore. You don't get these things.
There were a few for Forest, I remember, which is so fucking unreal to me.
How much this guy plays for how long at the top level. I mean,
and he was insane. A ridiculous Quake player as well. This guy's just a fucking natural, you know?
I don't know what's up. Like, it seems like there's seasons for the community, and now it's cheating season, witch hunt, whatever. It'll probably blow over soon. I mean, the one thing I think we might get out of this is if they get something for the majors, where I think I read a really good idea where it's something really intrusive for the cheating systems, or even the different CSGO competitive version where players don't have access to the source codes or whatever it's used for that. I think that maybe this is something good that could come out of this, because if we can prove that at least in one tournament we're guaranteed there are no cheaters and the players still perform, I mean, I think could end this pretty quickly.
Well, you know, you've been behind these teams, right? So, and obviously I work on a league now, so you can help me out here. Is it possible to cheat online, in your opinion? You know, you've been in those booths. Do we do enough? Do we do enough to stop players potentially injecting cheats?
This maybe, like, if you asked me this 3 weeks ago, I would have said no, but someone showed me a video, I don't remember, of someone installing a cheat with like a cell phone via Connect or something, and the guy showing how it worked. That blew my mind. I'd never imagined something like that would be possible. So I think, I mean, there's a lot of money involved, and I think that better safety measures could always be implemented, and the more the better in this case, because I mean, with computers, you're dealing with something a little different, right? I mean, there are so many smart people out there that from what I read on this, people say, like, the problem with anti-cheat measures is you have to know what you're looking for, and for cheating is a lot easier.
Yeah, you're always behind. You're always behind, dude. Always. So, I mean, I don't care what anyone says. People want to talk about Valve. People want to talk about, you know, Faceit, ESEA, ESL, all these people making these anti-cheats. Let me tell you, I've studied cheats for fucking years, right? I've done everything I can. Even now, you know, every time I get wind of a private cheat, I try and talk to my connections and try and find out about it. How does it work? What can I do? Can I get information to Valve? Can I get files to Valve? That's what I'm doing all the time, privately, on a daily basis. I've discovered cheats before in the past. Back in Source, you'll remember Vent.exe. I got that from people in the Benelux scene, and I made it public. And by making it public and making sure everyone had it, Valve got it, Valve patched it out, and it started to backban people. So, you know, that's always been my approach to it. But I've seen shit today that'll blow your fucking mind. I'm talking about cheats that exist on phones. I'm talking about spoofed USPs. I'm talking about hardware cheats. I'm talking about cheats that disguise themselves as firmware. I'm talking about cheats that, you know, you can bypass an online anti-cheat by having it on a separate computer. It's fucking unreal, the technology they got. There was one that was going around in 2012 where it was on your phone, and it synced up with your radar, and you had your phone in your pocket, and when you swept over enemy, your phone would vibrate in your pocket like brrr, brrr, so you would know exactly where the fuck like.
Oh my god,
dude, and
I think
it's an arms race,
measures. I mean, whatever they can do to help prevent, or I think that'd be good. Even though I believe that these things aren't happening, this is my opinion. That at least I don't see it, because most of the clips I can see the explanations, maybe one or two, I find a little weird. But I mean, maybe coincidence happened. Who am I to say, right?
Yeah.
But I think that the more safety measures they get, for sure, the better. I mean, majors, they tend to have a little better security and stuff like that. Some other events, sometimes they slack off with the cell phone thing, and that's something that might scare me a bit. I think that cell phone is one thing. I mean, it's the most obvious one, but these things shouldn't even get near a computer when you're gonna play a tournament, and sometimes it happens. I mean, we know how these events are.
Yeah.
I mean,
in South Korea, how they used to do it in Kesper was the StarCraft players would have to go through metal detectors. They get swept with a wand, and your phone goes, your watch goes.
I think that maybe some people would bitch about it, say it's intrusive, but I mean, if it's what it takes, I think it's all fair, man. I mean, if you have nothing to hide, why are you going to be scared about it? Because you can't take a selfie in front of a computer. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, who fucking cares, right? $1 million on the line. It's for what, 3 hours anyway?
I mean, I'm sure that for $1 million, someone is going to think of some way to try to take an advantage, for sure. But the one thing I say, if someone does get caught cheating, in my opinion, they should go to jail, because this is like something we're dealing with, a whole different story now. We're not playing for jail? If you're cheating people out of money and the amount of betting that was going on and things like, you're dealing with a lot of stuff, viewers, families. I mean, these things are tense. I think that, if the guy is doing something out of bad faith and trying to screw over a community, he should have the consequences for it.
Hey, I'll tell you something that really makes me laugh, right? Pasha, he goes a little bit further. So obviously in the past, we've seen Pasha talk about, if you cheat against me, I'll find you, my friend, joking around. Yeah. But he said if anyone on his team was ever caught cheating, he would chop his dick off. That's what he said. He would chop his dick off. There's a video on YouTube, dude. It cracks me up every time I watch it, because it's like, holy shit. That means I trust those 4 guys, because that's my Johnson. I want to keep hold of that. So... But look, there's some other stuff I want to talk about, and then we're going to talk about Immortals. I'm conscious of time. You've already been an hour. We'll try and wrap up in the next 10 minutes or so. So I just wanted to touch on this gambling stuff. I thought you could give me a very unique Brazilian perspective, because it's quite interesting. I hear all the time about how Brazil is a shady scene, and there's financial corruption, and you can't trust people, and people make promises, and people have money, and 1 minute it's there, and 1 minute it isn't. And yet, all of this gambling stuff hasn't really seemed to have affected the Brazilian scene at all, or Brazilian teams, or Brazilian people on an individual basis. So, have you observed anything from your position as a prominent Brazilian personality? And also, what do you think about this whole skins betting stuff?
I mean, from the Brazilian scene, I think it's hitting in the same way as I hit everyone on the forums and the pages, and people are bitching, my skins, what am I going to do on my free? I mean, but if you want to gamble, someone's going to find a way to gamble on something. The true addicts are going to do something. And my fear is that maybe the CS community will take a bit of a viewership hit because of this, because it does bring a lot. But I mean, I think that I don't know, I could be completely off on this, but I think that this isn't going away forever. They're going to bring in something regulated, something that actually makes sense and we know is legit, because the huge problem with this is underage gambling, and the underage gambling is horrible. And I've seen posts of kids that, I lost my rent, I lost my stuff, like that. People shouldn't, it can get crazy. That's what I'm scared of. But if they bring in something that's better, I think it's for the best, for sure. And Brazilians, they are complaining just as much as everyone else, that the ones that like to bet, but it's 50-50. I see a lot of people saying, no, this is a good thing, this will come out as a better thing. And in the end, Valve isn't going to do something that would break their game or something like that. And I do kind of agree. I don't think Valve would make a crazy decision out of nowhere. They're going to do their research and see how that's going to affect, and try to minimize it as much as possible.
There's a wording after the whole iBuyPower thing in their blog where it says players shouldn't associate with large gamblers. And
Oh
yet,
yeah.
when I've been investigating or the things I've been investigating recently, I've seen players, some big names, household names, and they're on the Steam friends list of these people. And they're asking them for skins. They're getting skins. They're placing bets on these gambling sites. Do you think
Oh yeah.
players need to distance themselves now and just be like, look,
I think
get
now's
away?
a good time for distance, of course, with everything that's going on. I mean, even as we did have our players like to use the CS:GO Wild a lot and stuff like that. I mean, for us, it wasn't bad because all our players are overage and they knew what they were doing
Sure.
and stuff like that. But I do see how it can affect a lot of people differently, and especially the younger kids. And I mean, I think that there's going to be some financial hit because, of course, some of these sites did sponsor some of these teams that I know of and stuff like that, and
Mm.
they did help a lot. And there was a lot of money involved in this. There's no
Yeah,
way.
you ain't kidding, brother. You ain't kidding.
It's
I've
a
seen some of
lot
the
of
numbers. It's
a
fucking
lot
crazy.
of money. Like I've heard people talking serious numbers. Like so, I
Mm.
mean, well, I guess we all have to see. There's nothing we can do about it. It's out of our hands. So
Okay. Well, look. Let's start talking about Immortals, your new home, right?
yeah.
You're gonna be playing with these guys. Tell me about what you got coming up. When have you started practices yet? Where are you guys gonna be playing? When does competitive action start for you?
Well, as you know, I was talking to you. We just got back to Brazil with all of SK. Now we're finally here, and it's getting announced now. So now we can actually start focusing and doing things not undercover, because there's always that organization thing where, well, try to do things planned out. But I already have a computer. I'm going to practice as much as possible. We go back to the United States on August 9th,
Mhm.
and that's when things start for us. We know ESCA is going to start. We have that Northern Arena tournament, which I think is our first LAN we're going to practice for. So we do have some time to practice in NNA while playing ESCA.
Mhm.
And I mean, we're see these guys are extremely talented. They have raw talent. They do need leadership. I think that's what I will be able to help them a lot.
Mm.
At least in the beginning, they do need. I mean, Bolts, he tried in-game leader, but even he told me himself, he's like, I don't want to do this. I'm taking a hit in my game. I'm not doing the best for the team. And in the end, we're like, just screw it. Let's just run out. And they won a dream hack like that, which was amazing. But I mean, these guys are. This is going to be cool. I guarantee you, this is going to be a cool thing. I mean, I hope everything works out for SK, but with Immortals, I'm really sure this is a step forward for us.
What's your first impressions about the organization? I know the owner, Noah. He's a real cool guy. I met him when he came in for League of Legends, and we've hung out a few times. He's been very interested in CS:GO. He took a long, hard look at some other teams. I'm not too sure. I think it was there was a few other teams on the table. He went with you guys, and obviously he bought you out of the contract. Or bought your teammates out of the contracts at Tempo Storm. So what do you make of Immortals? Are you impressed by them?
I mean, I've had very little time working with them. I just went to a few meetings with Noah just to try to get things sorted out, jerseys, the images and stuff like that. And now, since I am the leader of the team, I'm getting already control of all the things that are to happen with our house coming up and everything
Mm.
like that. And Immortal seems amazing. Seriously, I've never seen something like this level of what they have in structure. They're offering us performance coaches to live and take care of nutrition and take care of everything, every little detail of what you need to eat and how to focus better. And they really will make you only focus on the game and nothing else. And everything else is going to, I mean, the stories I got from the guys already, like when we were in Sweden, we come out of the booth, there was a separate table already set up for us. The guy would say, like, now you eat half a banana, one slice of dark chocolate and green tea. Is like everything's thought out. So
Nice.
it seems to. I think this is going to be amazing. I think they're, if not the biggest, one of the top three for sure, structure-wise out there.
How long are you personally going to give time wise in terms of figuring out if you're going to be able to hang at this international level? Have you put a time on it, or will it just be a case of you'll just know?
Being very honest, this won't go wrong.
Mhm.
Immortals is the kind of organization. I mean, you speak with Noah, you know the background they have in the
Mhm.
sport. They don't take these decisions lightly, and they do their due research behind it. They
Mhm.
know that for a team to work out and things like that, it's not only the fragging power immediately. There are so many things that have to click with living with each other, the way that our teams do, and everything like that. And I mean, the the support Noah is giving me and the the vote of confidence he's giving me. He said, I will fully back you up with all the authority you want. This is your team. You take care of it, and just get our goals reached. And I know there's no way this is going wrong. So I didn't even put a timeline, because I know that this is not going to go wrong. This is going to be something really good.
Awesome. Well, look, dude, I'm gonna wrap the show up there, but I will certainly give you the opportunity. Do you need to do any shout outs? It can be sponsors, whoever.
No, man. I mean, I want to give a shout out to all people watched. I hope you're not too upset with me, especially the Brazilian community. I mean, I want to shout out to SK, my former teammates. These guys are amazing. I do consider them family with all they've been through. I'm so happy that they are supporting me. They said that I really should go, and I mean, they're doing everything for me. This was all a team. That nothing was done behind anyone's back. Everyone knows, and everyone helped out, reach the same goal. So, to them, and shout out to Noah and all the Immortals. Now that I'm coming, my new home, I'm going to do everything, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, look, dude. Hopefully now that people have seen you do an interview at length, talk about your experiences and what you bring to the table. One of the things I always love about interviewing people that maybe don't do a lot of interviews is like, I get to see you behind the scenes. I get to talk to you behind the scenes. We get to hang out, right? I know you're a cool guy. So I'm kind of hoping that people are going to see that. And, you're a very smart guy. I hope you've made the right decision. I'm going to be watching you with interest. I can't wait to see whether you can cut the mustard. So I wish you all the best, every success, because you've done wonders for the scene, in my humble opinion. Now, just before we close out the show, ladies and gentlemen, I have to remember, because I don't do it, we obviously have an Audible sponsorship. And you can go audibletrial.com/RL show. If you download it there, you get a trial. And we get some pennies, and I don't know what we're going to do with the pennies. I imagine we're going to use them to feed Sam, who is an impoverished, poor Welsh person. Very much like the stories that we've heard about Luminosity. Sam sleeps on the floor. Sam puts 13 hours a day into making content with me. So we're going to try and you never worked that long, but we're going to try and get him as much as we can. So that's how you can support him and indeed the show. So to everybody out there, thanks a lot for watching this one. To Zeus, again, every success. Thanks very much for coming on. Thanks to Immortals for letting us sync this up, and we will see you on the next Richard Lewis show. Peace.